Right. I've already talked a bit about profit, and in fact, in doing so, I've covered material going up to chapter 7 of Capital, and I've talked about capitalists, but I haven't talked about capital, which Marx discusses in chapter 4. Now, for orthodox economics, capital is a bit of a tricky question, because what is capital? Is it amounts of money? Is it physical means of production? Machines and so on. If it's physical means of production, for example, this video clip is being filmed on a laptop computer. Is a laptop computer by its nature capital? Or does it depend on whether it's used by and owned by an individual who uses it for their own purposes, or whether it's an item of equipment in a capitalist company? Okay, Marx insists that capital is a social relation. It's a social relation between the owner of the means of production and the seller of labour power. And that social relation is embodied not just in this thing or that thing, but in a moving circuit of value, as value transforms, it mutates from one form to another. So capital isn't the laptop computers used in a capitalist corporation. It may be embodied in them, but what defines it as capital is the process of those laptops being bought by the capitalist, used to put workers to work, and the products of those workers' labour being sold. It's defined by an entire circuit. And you have something of the same thing here as you had with abstract labour and concrete labour. When you're at work, what you're doing is both abstract and concrete labour. But these refer to different social relations. A laptop computer is there at work. It's capital because in the sense of the social relations it's linked into. So capital is a social relation which expresses itself in the movement of value through different commodities. Now, if you look at that, that seems a bit of a puzzle, because if I have a pair of gloves, but it's quite warm, I don't need the gloves, but I'm really hungry and I want an apple, I might sell my gloves and buy the apple and eat it. And there you have a movement of value from the gloves to the apple. And the purpose of that circuit is quite plain. The exchange value of the two commodities is the same, but the gloves don't have a use value for me at the moment, and the apple does. Now, why would capitalists be moving value through all these different forms where there's no commodity to be consumed at the end? At the end of this gloves apple thing, I'm going to consume the apple. And the answer, this circuit of capital makes sense only if what happens in the circuit is an increase in value. Now, that again is a paradox, because the whole point about this is, look, I may be lucky. I come across somebody who's willing to give me a very good price for the gloves, and I get several apples, and I may cheat the apple merchant. But that's not a regular business. That's a variation on the side. And that can't explain the regular flow of capitalist profits. Some capitalist profits come through good luck, swindling and so on. But that doesn't explain the circuit as a regular thing of the whole of society. And Marx explains this by saying you have a paradox here. This increase in value has to take place somehow within a circuit where commodities are exchanged as equals. And again, his explanation for that His theory for that is to do with the distinction between labour power and labour. That with labour power, you get a commodity which is bought at a certain price, and then the process of consuming that commodity creates additional value, and that additional value is greater than the value of the labour power which has been bought. That is not the case. That's not a particular act of cheating or swindling. That is the nature of the system whereby we all work by selling our labour power to the owners of the means of production. Within that system, that extraction of surplus, that increase in value as it goes around the circuit, is perfectly fair and logical. Marx's critique is not that the capitalist is carrying out some special swindle, though some of them are, a lot of them are, a lot of the time. It is that the very nature of this market system is one which tends to impoverish the worker and enrich the capitalist.